Hey guys, this is Locke. In this video, I'm going to go over Esper recommendations for Cloud. The first Esper I want to look at is the Guard Scorpion. These has flat stats that you can get, and the things that I want you to pay attention to is the agility of 15 and the resistance. He gets slow resistance of 25% at level 99. 15 agility is kind of middle of the pack because there are some with like very, very slow values like 12 or 13, but there are some that are also much higher like Odin, which has a agility of I think 19 or 20. Slow resistance is also not that great because there are some other resistances I would rather have. For example, disable resist or stop resist. I think those are way better. But this is what we have on that Esper, and that's kind of what we have to use. I think this Esper was specifically made for Cloud because if you take a look at the skill tree later on, there's nothing that increases missile damage, like missile attack or anything, but he has on his skill a decrease of missile resistance by 38% for 3 turns, which is really interesting that you have a skill like that on an Esper that doesn't increase missile damage. So I think this was like almost tailor-made for Cloud, really, to take advantage of his missile and slash skills. Now let's take a look at his skill tree. It's pretty good for what we want. Like it has all these lightning attack nodes, up to 25 lightning attack, which is great. It has 15 slash attack, so you can actually increase, if you take the lightning and the slash nodes, you can increase this damage as much as you want, like the maximum that you can get with this. He has some like slash resistance of like I think 6% here, but he has 20% missile resistance, which I think is also very good because I think it's a fairly common damage type in the game. Now, if you're playing as Cloud, you are aiming to get a lot of critical hits to take advantage of one of his skills, and so this increases his critical rate and his critical damage. So it's all around a very good Esper to have on him. I think especially if you're a newer player, you'll probably not have access to Odin or Fenrir or any of the other recommendations I'm going to give. So this is most likely what you're going to slap on him simply because that is what you have access to. And it is a good Esper. Like I think it has great nodes. It has great skill sets. Agility is not bad. Flat stats are pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I think for like most people, most cases, this is a pretty good Esper. I think there's only one other good Esper actually that has like 25 lightning attack. So this is one of 2 Espers that most people will use for lightning units anyway. So I think it's always a good Esper to have, and I'll definitely want to be getting this Esper, even if I have all the other Espers that I'm going to talk about. But it is one of the 4 recommendations that I have for Cloud. The disadvantage mostly comes up to the low agility stat because sometimes you really want him to take more turns or go first or something. Get a first turn buff before the enemy approach or something like that. So sometimes you might want more than 15 agility. And the second thing that I mentioned about is that slow resist. Slow is one of the least dangerous status effects in the game. Like if you get stopped or something, then I mean the game might even be over with that. If you get berserked, again, game might be over. Disable is also very dangerous. I mean you can like get Asuna to remove it or something, but these are all effects that are like game changing. Slow is good because now you're getting a lot less turns. However, it's not as game changing as the other effects. That said, there are more and more things that reduce, stop, and disable. And people equip those items and those Espers on people, but they don't typically gear for slow resist. So if you have a unit that does slow, that actually might land more often than stop or disable. So maybe you want to put a slow resist on him for that or something. Or you might even actually you might be battling against raid bosses or something that cast slow. So in that case, you want to put this Esper on him so that he can resist that slow effect. So this is, I believe, the most generic, the most basic one that most people will go for. Now there are other recommendations, but I'm going to go into the English version of the website before I talk about the others. So the next Esper on my list is Odin. Once I find him, there he is. So Odin has an agility of 20, so 5 more agility. Hermes sandals, for example, gives you 6 extra agility. So this is like you're almost wearing an extra Hermes sandals by having Odin instead of the Guard Scorpion. So I think that's very good. Now, blind again is not something that I don't think is as useful. Usually, people bring guaranteed hit to deal with evade anyway, so I don't think it's that useful. But Odin does seem to be built towards a neutral kind of unit. Like he has some missile resistance, some slash resistance, some man eater, so it's effective against like most other enemies. And then he also has on top of the generic stuff, he also has a very high accuracy buff. So he has I think like 22 accuracy or something. So that blind resist is like flavorful with that accuracy, but in terms of just pure resistances, it's not that good, I think. But for its purpose, where if you're equipping Odin on somebody because you want to make sure they're hitting, then that blind resist makes sense, right? Because you don't want to get blinded and have reduced accuracy. So I think his stats are overall good, especially with that agility. But where he stands out is this man-eater buff. So here it says increase human killer, but man-eater, it's the same thing as... so how this works is lightning attack, which is what the Guard Scorpion has. Whenever you use any kind of lightning attack, like any of Cloud's skills, because they're all lightning element, that will get a plus 25 to the lightning modifier. Now, human killer... it says, if you add these up, this is 25 human killer. It's the exact same thing as lightning attack as long as you're attacking a human type unit. So if Cloud is attacking Tifa and he has Odin equipped, he will get plus 25 to all of his skills from the from the human killer. But he would also have gotten plus 25 to all his lightning skills if he instead had the Guard Scorpion equipped. But as you can see, lightning human killer is just generic, so you can equip Odin on basically any unit. Whereas with the Guard Scorpion, you really want to equip it on lightning units so that they can have the plus 25 lightning. If you equip Guard Scorpion on Tifa, for example, that lightning attack is not going to do anything because she doesn't have any lightning skills. Now, Odin can either get 15 missile resistance or 15 slash resistance, or both. You can have Odin built in a defensive way as well. Most of the time, what I go for is human killer plus accuracy. Now, I really like accuracy because there's a lot of evade in the game, and so I would always like to have at least one unit that has very high accuracy. So I usually give them all my accuracy gear, including Odin, with all the with all the accuracy nodes. Now, is that good for Cloud? I mean, Cloud has two forms of guaranteed hit already. He has a slash guaranteed hit and a range guaranteed hit. So maybe having that guaranteed hit is not as necessary on Cloud as it is on some other units, like for example 9S or something, because 9S does not have a guaranteed hit. So I think Odin is a little bit less priority for Cloud simply because he has all these access to guaranteed hits that other units don't. But if you want to build him and focus on agility and make him go first, or need to agility tune him or something, then Odin might be the one that you go for that reason. My third recommendation is an Esper that has a bunch of things going for it. The first thing is actually the stop resist. That 25% stop resist is huge because there's so many skills that give you a 25% chance to land stop, and if that lands on you, then you're screwed. Like, the game might be over at that point. So that 25% stop resist can be huge, and I can see myself putting Fenrir on somebody instead of Odin just to give them the additional stop resist. Like, it's that huge for me. Now, he has 15 agility compared to 15 of Guard Scorpion and 20 of Odin. So as I said, like 15 is usually like an average number. A lot of units have around 15, 16 agility, whereas like 10 to 12 is like on the lower end, and like 18 to 20 is on the higher end. Now, if you look at a skill tree, usually a lot of Espers have like an elemental attack, like say water attack or ice attack or something. Fenrir doesn't. He instead only has slash attack. So you can so over here on this side you have all these slash attack nodes, but you also have slash attack nodes here as well. And if you get both of them, you get plus 30 slash attack. So this is good for Cloud if you're running him as a slasher and not as a as a hybrid. Like you don't take his ranger sub job, because if you take his ranger sub job, you ideally would want the plus 25 lightning attack, because it applies to all lightning skills, or the man eater, because again it applies to all skills as long as your opponent is a human type unit. But the reason that you might want to consider Fenrir is also because of the magic resistance. Cloud has a negative magic resist to start off, so this plus 20% magic resist might come in handy when you're fighting against things like a Black Rose Helena to survive one additional hit. So this might be an Esper, depending on, again, who you're fighting, who you're expecting to fight. If you're expecting to fight a lot of magic damage, maybe this is Esper you want to go for. So those are the 3 UR Esper recommendations. I have one MR recommendation for you guys, and I can't pronounce the name, so I'm just going to call it the Thundercat. So the Thundercat Esper has 16 agility instead of 15, and he also has a blind resist, so it's not the best, but it is what it is. It's what it comes with. I think the stats overall, like, if you look at the attack stat or dexterity or luck stat, it's overall a bit lower than the other 3 UR Espers I talked about. But he does come with 15, what is it, 15? Yeah, 15 lightning attack. Sorry, that's wrong. It's 15 missile attack. He comes with 25 lightning attack, so it's better than 15. He comes with 25 lightning attack, and he comes with these like critical damage nodes. So this might not be a bad Esper to put on Cloud, and especially if you're running him on Ranger sub and he's going to be doing missile damage, you might also want to take these nodes as well, which gives 15 missile attack. Because if you have an Esper that has, like, all these 3 nodes that I'm talking about, then he basically gets 25 plus 15, so 40 to his missile attacks, and then 25 to his other like slash attacks, and he also gets like increased critical damage as well. So I think this is a pretty good Esper to put on him. The flat stats are a bit lower than the Guard Scorpion, so you have to keep that in mind. And then also, if you look at the resistances, like the Guard Scorpion has like 6% slash and 20% missile, whereas this one has a bit of pierce resistance, which is not as common. So those are the differences. But most of the time, if I'm running lightning teams, I usually have this Thundercat Esper on, because it's like one of the best for the lightning units. So I either have it on 9S or like Nivlu or Frederica. Then I could see myself also equipping it on Cloud. I do plan to get the Guard Scorpion anyway, so I mean I will have like Thundercat and the Guard Scorpion on 2 of my 3 lightning units, and maybe on the 3rd one I would have Odin, because he's pretty generic and I can put him on anyone. But anyway, I hope that kind of gives you some ideas on what to run. There's no one best fits all. Like, if you're fighting against Black Rose Helena, obviously Fenrir would be the best. If you're fighting, if you are planning to use, like, take the most advantage of his range skills, probably the Cat Esper might be the best then, because you get like a plus 40 modifier to the lightning range skills than the other Espers. So it all depends, but there is no one that's best for all. So use the one that you have. If you only have Guard Scorpion, obviously that's the one you're going to use. But for all the different situations, there are different Espers that work better. If you have other questions on these Espers, leave me a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer your question. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye.